Good evening. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkares, and this is State of Mentel Radio. Tonight, I was scrambling around a little bit. I was going back and forth between which topic I would choose to speak on because someone had, a listener had gave me a little heads up on a YouTube, I guess you would call it a rebuttal to one of my broadcasts about how black people are not really part of the human race. So, this individual, I guess he had nothing better to do. He took a clip of my radio broadcast and he decided to speak on it or rebut it. But, he really didn't rebut what I said. All he basically asked for was proof and, how do I come up with this and where did this come from and, blah, blah, blah. And, nothing of any real concrete standing to, refute what I had to say. Half the video was him listening to my words. It was about maybe 5 minutes. Half of it, about 4 of it was listening to my words, and a minute of him talking about how people are gullible and believe anything. First of all, I didn't ask anybody to believe anything. And the only reason I'm speaking on this right now is because I didn't want to waste a whole broadcast because I almost made the mistake of doing that, and I'm definitely not going to waste a whole broadcast because I spoke about the 200 fallen messengers or angels, whatever you want to say, and the beings that came here, the advanced beings, the Amen beings that came here, right, who begat or created the human race, right? I said just as you have a human race, you have an Amen race, a race of omni beings, beings who exist outside of this solar system, who created the human race, who came here as men and had sex with the women that they created on Earth, had intercourse with them. Now, this person tried to refute the story because he said, "Oh, this guy, he says he's using a biblical story first of all, and he tries to get at people who use the Bible, and he tries to look down on people who use the Bible." I said, first of all, that story is not even from the Bible. The Bible's late. The Bible actually copied that story from several older books, meaning your Gilgamesh epic, your Enuma Elish, where they talked about the Anunnaki, who had fallen beings that came down here. When the story of Enki and Enlil, the account of Enki and Enlil, and these extraterrestrial beings that came down from their world here, and how there was a war in heaven, or a war in the skies, I should say. And it also picked up with the Egyptians who talked about the Nibiru. It was the same story. So the Bible actually, the Council and the Sea actually lifted that story. They cleaned it up a little bit, and talked about 200 fallen angels. So that, like I said, that story is not even native to the Bible. That was put into the Bible, first of all. So if he wanted proof, you could look at those references. And you can also look at what the Egyptians and the Sumerians and whatnot said that they came from that God race, those beings who came down here. That's why if you look at the Egyptians, they had all those statues of those what you call deities or gods, which were actually those Amen beings who came down here. You understand? From their world into this one. So below, as above, so below. A race of people who came looking as so-called black people onto the earth, a God race, an advanced race of beings, a future race that comes out of our genetic right now into the future. Okay? Now, if that's a little hard for this individual to understand because he seemed kind of slow because, like I said, he didn't come up with any real concrete things. All he basically said was, oh, black people will believe anything, and I'm making stuff up. I got all of this stuff. Not only thank you to the sisters who posted about the Book of Enoch and all these other things, references, where it talked about these beings coming onto the earth, right? So this is not just a biblical story. The Bible, that story was copied, or should I say that account? I don't like to say story because stories sound made up. That account was taken from older books and plagiarized, just as the Jesus story was, just as the Noah story was, and they were added into the Bible, and the names were changed, just to keep those stories, or keep those accounts, I should say, going, to give them reference or give them relevance today, because a lot of those older books from the Sumerians and the ancient societies, they were lost until, they were found maybe 20, 30 years prior to this time. So you see what the sources of the Bible actually were. So these were people who actually were saying that they had contact with these advanced beings. Right? Same way this government obviously had contact with advanced beings when they show you aliens and all this other business, right? They showed you that where they had contact with aliens and people from other worlds. So that's not far-fetched to accept. It's just that, you got a lot of bonehead Negroes out there who, if the white man don't say it, it's not true. If the white man don't agree with it, it's not true. These same people talking about, oh, black people, we gullible, we trying to get us to believe anything. Y'all sat up here and believed some man lived on a damn cloud with a beard and a white robe. That's the basis of what the black man believes. Don't tell me what black people are gullible enough to believe. Black people believe that they're going to go, in Islam believe they're going to go to heaven and have 72 virgins. So don't tell me with black eyes. Well, it's like I said, I don't even understand the whole story of how you're going to have sex in heaven since it's supposed to be a so-called spiritual place. I ain't think you desire sex anymore. But anyway, you understand? Don't get on what it is black people believe and what they don't believe, or what makes sense and what don't make sense. Black people today are in no position to judge what makes sense and what don't make sense. What our people should be doing, I should say the average black people. I'm not talking about you intelligent ones, my people who can actually think past the white man, past him and his books and his authorship over something. Because like I said, that's all black people look to. Where they say that at? In other words, where does the white man say that happened? Where did he get all of this stuff from? Nobody ever asks that. You just accept whatever he say. He'll put anything in the book. As crazy as it sounds, as mad as it sounds, it don't even have to make sense because, like I said, the black man is not thinking, or the black woman is not thinking. Whatever the white man say, y'all just accept it. You don't think for yourself. You don't say, hey, well, this don't sound right, because a lot of y'all can't think on your own. That's why this individual sat up here and made the video. And like I said, for the life of me, I don't know why. He must not have had nothing else better to do. You understand? Because, like I said, he didn't refute anything. All he was like, oh, we just believe in it. He just, you're going to have imps, Negroes that's going to, refute things and whatnot, try to refute things because they don't got nothing else better to do. I would have respected if he actually would have brought a rebuttal and broke it down logically and used his own mind to try to discredit what I said. But he didn't even do that. He just basically had a problem with it because he didn't want to accept it. So that's basically what was coming from his own personal shortcomings, or when it comes to thinking, or just logically, mulling it over in his mind. I guess he couldn't do that, so he just decided to attack it because, like I said, the white man didn't say it. It wasn't in the Bible this way, and he decided not to do any research beyond the Bible. So. I just use the Bible because everybody pretty much knows or has some sort of connection with the Bible. I think I did say in that broadcast, I spoke about the Gilgamesh epic, the Enuma Elish, and all these other books and these things that came before the Bible that spoke about these 200 fallen messengers. He also said, he says that we come from fallen angels, fallen. Now, first of all, when I said fallen, that didn't mean good, didn't mean bad. It meant people who fell down here into this earth. It's just what it meant. They fell down here from their world into this earth and into this atmosphere and were trapped here. Okay? That's all it meant. People that fell. He wanted to make it, they was bad and all this other nonsense. And like I said, we're not part of the human creation. Any idiot could look at the so-called black man and the black woman with our hair growing up in the air and our features and things like that, and look at the white man, look at the East Indian, look at the Arab, look at the Chinese, the so-called Native American, and tell we're not the same as any of these people. Any idiot can see that by now. Look at your hair, how it grows. Look at your skin. Look at how you move. Look at how you talk. Look how you act. You're not the same as these people. You're not even the same as the Africans. So obviously we come from a different origin or a different manifestation than these other people. The East Indian, the white man, the so-called Native American, the Chinese, all of them have the same kind of hair. They have the same type of skin texture. Like I said, just some shaded and darker and some is lighter. But like I said, they all the same people. You understand? For the most part. You can look at them and tell they're all the same people, the unnaturals, the created people. You can see that. Anybody can see that who don't have to go and ask the white man. But I guess these Negroes who under the white man like that, who basically allow the white man to do their thinking for them, they got to wait till he put out a book and, basically says it himself. Because he kind of already saying already, one day scientists kind of said that what I've been saying 3 years prior to this, they kind of already said it, but I guess the Negro, he got to go get the book. And when the white man say it, then he'll be like, well, okay. So that's enough of that. We're going to do tonight the last days of America and the rise of the elect. I'm going to go ahead and take a call before I get into it. It's my brother from another mother, Reginald, 510.
Peace. What's up, Logan?
What's going on, brother?
Oh no, are you done? Are you done talking about that guy?
Yeah, I'm done talking about that Negro. I just wanted to get that off because I found it to be funny.
Okay, cool. Because I had some things to say about it, but if you're done with it, I'm done too.
I mean, go ahead. You can go ahead and speak on because we got plenty of time. Go ahead.
Okay, so listen to this. Okay, so the brother, I just listened to. I didn't even listen to the whole thing because I knew it was a bunch of garbage.
Mm-hmm.
Just from the first 2-3 minutes, I could tell that he's an idiot. Basically, anybody that's interested, you don't have to be, but if you are, you could get bibliography to just totally discredit anything that he was saying. There are books. There's a book called Parallel Myths by J.R. Bierland. It's on Amazon. You could get it. There's a book called In the Beginning, Creation Stories by Virginia Hamilton. Get it if you want. Get it. World Mythology, Donna Rosenberg. Primal Myth, Barbara Sparrow. If you really want to discredit this guy, but don't waste your time. I'm telling you, it's just like this, dude. Sublime figures make grotesque history. All right, and the story of the fallen is in ancient writings. It was when Greece in Greek, the ancient Greek mythos. Those when the so-called the Amen race was there, it was there, all right, and it was just carried on, man. The Bible, when you use the Bible, I know you're just using it because this is what people can relate to.
Exactly.
And we know that the Bible is just a bunch of pamphlets. It's a bunch of pamphlets of ancient intel just put together, later on humanized by the so-called white people. But really, it wasn't the white people that did it. It was some Coptic Egyptians. When they talk about that conference of Nicaea and all that, they try to put that in like a European face. Those were Coptic Egyptians, and they wrote those words not for us, but for them. See, and later on in the 1800s or what have you, then when it was translated, they humanized the figures. So sublime figures make grotesque history. And if anyone wants to just discredit this guy, you can if you want. All it takes is bibliography and some scholarship, and it's a done deal. But pay no attention. Pay no attention to these guys. Pay no attention to these guys. They're not. If you don't listen to what Newman is saying, and it doesn't resonate immediately with you, then you're not of the elect, and that's it, and that's all.
Well, like I said, that guy, he's not even worth it. Like I said, half the damn thing, like 4 minutes of it was spent playing me talking. You know what I mean? Like, and then at the end, he said about maybe if he got 40 seconds, 50 seconds, a minute in of him talking, that was basically it. He just listened to all me. It was pretty much all me talking. If you listen to it, so.
I was enjoying the first part.
yeah. So it basically wasn't. Like I said, I guess you could tell he was listening to the broadcast and it blew his mind. It probably blew his mind. He didn't know what to think. But because like I said, I wasn't a white man. Because had I been a white man, and I said all this stuff. He'd have been like, ooh, he would have studied. He probably wouldn't have said nothing about it. He didn't even, like I said, sometimes Negroes just want to be heard and seen. I'm gonna probably even take his video off the thing, whatnot, because he's not worth giving no attention to. So, whatever.
Hey, Nubin.
Yeah.
You killed it last night, boy. You killed it last night.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, that guy that was talking, God, it just you never really know how ignorant people are until you like when I listen to you speak, and then compared to this guy, you just never know how ignorant people sound. He was just trying to sound so intellectual, and he was just dancing around all the facts. But you notice that every time that you speak, they run. Have you noticed that?
Mm-hmm.
I got to get up. Oh, well, I just want to close. And then the other guy that was talking about land, he was like, oh, you guys go ahead. You know, this shit is crazy, man. It's crazy.
Well, you know, like I said, I'm really not you know, I did that, you know, just to you know, get the message out and whatnot. You know, I'm not really paying attention to the rest of these Negroes today because, like I said, they just more interested in trying to sound heavy and deep, and you know, and they just out here causing confusion with their love and their spiritual talk and all this nonsense. Like I said, they not in tune with nothing. It just sound, everything they saying sound nice, and everybody want to sound deep and heavy. But we at this point now where we, you know, it's too late in the game for that. We have to actually get in tune mentally with the supreme being, with their supreme force and whatnot, and stop with all this spiritual talk and all this well-wishing and thinking that everybody's going to go into this celestial world and this plane. Well, that's not going to happen. A lot of our people are not going to make it into the future, and that's the reality of it. A lot of our people serve no purpose, and that's what I was basically, you know, coming there to say, that if you want to make it into the future, you know, you have to serve a purpose to the God race, to the almond beings for being here. You understand? A lot of our people don't serve no damn purpose. They serve, you know, they have no use to anybody, not even themselves.
There's just no rebuttal. There's no rebuttal here. You know.
Yeah.
For people that are tuned in, there's no rebuttal. There's nothing that can be said about the intel that you're sharing. There's nothing that can be said, man. And that's just the reality of it.
Oh, well, they're gonna try, but you know that's niggas for you. They'll try anything when they see somebody look like them. They feel like they got a buck and kicking, you know, and be mad. But like I said, had my face been white and my head been straight, that wouldn't have had a problem. I wouldn't have heard nothing, because you got thousands of these white guys up here. Even though I had said that, you know, I was the first one coming out saying our people not part of the human race, and I said we part of the Omni race, or the almond race. I was the first one to come saying that. You know, but like I said, had the white man said it first, it wouldn't have been a problem. Nobody would have asked him, well, where did you get this from, and where, you know, they would just accept the white man. Anything he said, they just accept, you know, so.
Yeah, man. Hey, so, go ahead, go on with the show, man. I'm going to continue listening.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to do my thing. Let me go ahead and do my thing.
For sure, man.
All right.
Hey, peace to Brother Shabazz. Peace to Brother Shabazz. I know you're going to call in, brother. Peace to you.
All right, Shabazz. Peace to you. All right, peace, Rex.
All right.
Brother Reggie from Oakland. You know, for the last couple of days, you know, there was this Hurricane Sandy in New York, and, you know, a lot of the people, you know, were going on long lines trying to get to work, and, you know, and it looked like, you know, and the sister, she took a picture of the, you know, everybody just, you know, trying to get into the cities, to get to their jobs and get to work. And, you know, it just reminded me of, you know, bread lines. It reminded me of food lines, cheese lines. It reminded me of, you know, turmoil and, you know, and desolation and people and you know, desperate times. This is what it looked like. And I looked at this whole thing and I said, you know, this is a sign of things to come, because the world has to be shaken up. The world is too relaxed. The world can't move into the next phase in this state, the current state it's in. A lot of our people are going to lose out on everything. A lot of our people who are sitting on top of the world, making their money, doing what they do, and, you know, thinking that everything's going to be all right. They can go to their jobs. They can get out on the street and hustle. They can get out here, get their 401k. They can sell their drugs, whatever. Black people get their hip-hop, rap music on, play their basketball. A lot of people thinking that, but, you know, the world is changing. It's going through an evolution. And when everything, you know, when things like this happen, you have to expect collateral damage. You have to expect economies to fall. You have to expect governments to come down as you know it. You have to expect people, like I said, to pass off the scene, people in large numbers. This has been going on since the beginning of time, where you hear the stories of the floods and, you know, and going even back into the biblical time and even further back with the stories of the Sumerians and whole races of people being wiped out and a new generation of people being born onto the earth. This is necessary to clean off the planet. It's necessary to bring about regrowth in the people, a newness in the people. This is necessary. If this is you can't continue the world forward with people whose minds are set in the old ways. See, because that ignorance weighs heavy on the planet. See, thoughts are they carry a weight to it. And when you have people who carry heavy ignorance, it weighs down the rotation of the planet. It weighs down the evolution of the planet. So what happens? These people have to go to the wayside. This is why you have people who die every day. People who don't continue into the next realm, into the next level, because they end at a certain point. They have a start date and an end date here. Right? And based on their level of reception, based on their level of intelligence of what they're open to receive, they will continue going. They will continue forward, even after the physical shell lays down. However, economies, orders, structures, governments, they all come to an end. Just as Egypt came to an end, just as Rome came to an end, just as Greece came to an end, just as all these empires came to an end, so will this one. Right? It will, because the great experiment failed, where you were able to cram a lot of people into a society who are different races and ethnicities and whatnot. It hasn't worked. We have become the society of excess here, right? Prior to World War II, America was pretty much a second or third world country. Prior to World War II, what put America on top was the war, was World War II. After World War II, America came out as a superpower, and then it started the thing of Social Security and Social Security cards, all these things. Social orders were set up, right? And it gave America a first world jump on everybody else because social systems were set up. They ingratiated the people, right? And based on these systems being set up, based on these systems moving forward within the society, it created an excess and people living in excess. You had people, I said after World War II, the economy was good. People were buying homes and, people could, had good cars. They had factory jobs. People were making pretty good, decent pay. And, the economy was good. And then when you had the 80s and all this stuff come in, and then there was like that Wall Street mentality, people was, like I said, excess again, over excess. You had the black man out there, a lot of people out here was selling drugs, making millions of dollars, buying all these cars and these houses and all this stuff, and, you had your Wall Street millionaires, all these people made all this money and was like burning it and buying up resources like overnight. People said the economy was good. However, when you spend money like that, you are basically buying resources. You're buying cars, you're buying houses, you're buying food, you're consuming. And the more you consume, the more you think it's about the dollar, the more you think it's about, how much money you can stack and this and the third to buy material, to buy physical things. You're burning the resources that go into making these things. So if you can't match the resource, if you can't match the dollar that you're spending, then what happens in inflation? The dollar becomes inflated till it becomes worthless. Then you put people in debt. Like right here in America now, nothing is really manufactured here. Everything is manufactured someplace else. Not too many things are manufactured here. So when that happens, you basically have to create two classes. You have to create wealthy people, basically all of those people who control all of the resources, and you have to wipe out the middle class, and you have to create a working class poor people to poverty level people. These wealthy people will be your conservatives who will trickle down the money to the working class people gradually, where they control all the resources. The conservative people, they'll save the resources. Whereas, like I said, the people who are wasteful, the people who will deplete the resource, the people who will buy, like I said, especially our people, because our people, based on how we are, the fact that we love to burn things up, We love to have excess and everything, more cars, more sneakers, more money, more rims, more whatever it takes. Material goes into making that. And if you don't have the material to outsource that, then these people are depleting the resource. Right? They eating up all the food. They using all the metal. They using the rubber for the sneakers. They using the cotton for the hats. Everything's being utilized. People don't have this to put out. In World War II, you had, when it was the food shortage, they had food rationing stamps where your family got a book of rationing stamps, which was pretty much the same as getting a book of food stamps. That's where they get the food stamp thing from, where those stamps were only to go and buy food to feed your family. In other words, in rations, and to slow down to the use of burning up the resources of food. That's going to happen again. People are going to be rationed out food again. Same way it happened in Russia and China and all these other places where they were rationing out the goods. They didn't give out. You weren't able to just go in stores and buy as much as you want because you deplete the resource. This has to happen here again. Right? This is why other countries are doing good and we in debt. Right? This is why we in debt. This is why we can't move forward. This economy is not going to move forward. You have the business people, right? You have business people like this guy Mitt Romney. They're vying to take over the country and things like that. And businessmen basically run the country because this is set up like a corporation. America is set up like a corporation. And based on the fact that it's set up like a corporation, they look for business people to straighten out or balance off the budgets and things like that. And, it's like any subsidiary, like any subsidiary. America is still, in a way, a subsidiary of England. And any good corporation looks at its subsidiaries for how much money it's losing, how to fix the problem. And there's really not, too much of a way to fix the problem. So you have a lot of your people today, a lot of your people in power, they're backing out of this society. They're looking for an exit plan. Same way when you have people who invest in a certain stock, they wait for the stock to bottom out. Look at America as a stock that is bottoming out, and they look to get out of that stock. They look to dump that stock and move on to something else. That's the way this society is being looked at now. You understand? That's how this society is being looked at now. They're looking to get out. The millionaires, the billionaires, the people that run this society, they're looking to cash out of America. So now you have people, right, who are here. You have people who are, not doing too well. Your working class people who voted for all these Republicans and all these other people, and or they done lost faith in the political system, the people that were supposed to represent them, the people who are losing their homes, losing their livelihood, losing their jobs, and things like that. This all has to happen. This has to happen because what it does, in the bigger scheme of things, is it forces people to have to survive. Certain people will commit crimes. Certain people will go under. Certain people will go to the cheese line. Certain people will get smarter and come up with something to survive and make money and survive and move on. This is where you get the best people to come out of things. You get the best people to rise out of a situation, whereas the people who are not in that mindset will pass off. This society going under represents a new people coming up out of it. Because out of all chaos, because there has to be chaos before order comes or a new order comes again. When, you had Bush and all these people talking about a new world order coming in, they realized that it would have to be some chaos first and foremost, i.e. 2001, New Orleans, with the planes hitting the World Trade Center. They had to create chaos in the minds of the people. They had to create these things. They had to give you a view of what is to come in order for a new order to come and straighten things out, right? Because it's like anything. It's like, say, you're in a room, right, or you have a restaurant or a building or whatever, and in order for you to expand the restaurant, right, you have to knock a wall down. You have to cause chaos. You have to knock a wall down, break it all down, and after that you have a new entrance. You have a new add-on to your place, a new order, a new room. That's the way this society has to go. Walls have to be knocked down. People have to go. Land masses have to be flooded. I don't know if anybody owns a naval map. They've been talking about these naval maps on YouTube and things like that, where they talk about that the water's rising. Right, the water's rising in certain areas. But certain areas are going to be underwater. Florida, New York, California. All the coastal areas are going to be underwater. Right? You see, well, even with this Sandy thing, my brother lives out in Queens, and his whole, place out there, because I guess he's by the water, was flooded. They are out without power out there. They are without power. They are without water. They are without everything out there now. Right out in Queens. Right? Their mayor says they're not going to have any power for about a week. Right? So, all you people that moved onto by the waters and things like that, be careful. Be careful. Because half of this society, half of America is going to be underwater. That's coming. The Navy, they're watching, like I said, the people that are moving inland, they're moving inland for a reason. The people that will be up in the mountains, they're going to, they're going to be safe. But the people who are just basically out on the coastal areas, like I said, again, Florida, New York, Virginia, I guess D.C., places like that, a lot of that's going to be underwater. Those places will go grad, but California, all that, forget it. Florida, forget it. These places are going underwater. Like I said, the tides are rising. The seas are rising. They just as we're coming closer to the sun, right? Something happens with the moon, where the moon, it forces the tides to rise as a way to cool the planet. You understand? Because as things heat up on the planet, as the polar caps melt, that's another source of water that will be coming down to submerge a lot of the land mass. The moon is trying to pull the tides over certain land mass to cool off the planet. Your Mayor Bloomberg said that the reason why Hurricane Sandy is going the way it is, well, somebody said because the moon was full. This is what your mayor said. The moon was full. Right? Huh? 3 full moons. 3 full moons. Now, if anybody knows about the moon pulls the tides. And if the moon pulls the tides, that means it's pulling the tides up on the land. It pulls the water up on the land. And it's pulling the water up on the land to offset, to bring about a cooling onto the land, because the sun is coming closer to the planet. It's like an extinguisher, right? Or like a sprinkler system. When it gets too hot in a room, a sprinkler system automatically goes off and water starts to spray the room as high as the temperature gets. It's the same way the sun is. As the temperature is getting hotter on the planet, it's going to cause the tides to rise. All right? This is real. 3 full days, three days of full moon. Lunacy. Right? The overrun of water. A lot of our people are going to be losing their minds. And at a time when people have to keep their minds straight, at a time when people have to stay in tune and come in together collectively, because I keep saying our people are supposed to be coming together in this time. Like I said, a lot of our people who are locked into the world, or people who are into the world, a lot of our people are going to pass off the planet. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people are going to die off in these areas, in these places. They'll die off with the regular people. And out of that regular people, there has to be an elect. There has to be a group of people who are going to move into the future. This planet, as I said, is being slowed down by the submental thoughts of people. Like I said, thoughts carry energy. In other words, if you can't, let's say we still had a bunch of people on the planet, right, who come from the time of horses and carriages and buggies. Now we into cars and computers and all that. So if you had a group of those people that were still living, a remnant of those people that were still living, they represent a slowdown in the evolution of the planet. Because all of those people are supposed to pass out at a certain time. They're supposed to leave the planet at a certain time. Right? So if you have a bunch of people who are still here on the planet, who's still talking about Christianity, Islam, Judaism, Moorish science, all these old things of the past, and we're moving rapidly into a future, what's going to happen to those people? Are they not helping and slowing down the evolution of the planet by their thoughts? Are they not blocking the way of the new children that's supposed to come, that's supposed to receive a higher and newer knowledge? These people who can't access future thought, these people who cannot access this higher intelligence, are they not slowing down the evolution of the planet? Because they're going to go out here and teach this ignorance to other people? Yes or no? What do you all have to say about this in the chat room? Because I'm looking in the chat room. Are these people not slowing down the evolution of the planet? Are they not slowing down the children from evolving by teaching them things that don't matter anymore? This is real. This is why they have to go off of the planet. This is why a massive sacrifice is needed. You have to sacrifice the old in order to bring in the new. I'm going to say it again. The old have to be sacrificed in order to bring in the new. The people who cannot move on in their way of thinking. The people who can't let go of the old things. This is why I constantly talked about the evolution of our way of thinking in the future, and I didn't talk purposely about the past. I only made reference to the past and talking about the future to give you a timeline. But my interest is not in the past, it's in the future, because I understand that if we're not focused on the future and our survival into the future as a collective group of people, then we will pass away with the old. The people who have not moved on, the people who are still locked in Egypt, the people who are still locked in Africa, the people who are still locked in Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Moorish science, and all this other 5%. I don't care what you locked into. These things that are still locked in the old world. Like I said, your thoughts and how you think are going to determine your evolution into the future. This is real. This is very real. Your ability or inability to access higher intelligence from the true and living God, who is a future man constantly moving into the future, your inability to access this intelligence will make or break you, will decide whether you live or die. This is real. You have to be of or constantly in that time of motion and movement, and you must be able to drop your preconceived notions about what you thought was true, because as we're going into the future, we're constantly learning the truth. We're learning what the people in the past did not know, or what they had their certain knowledge that was based in preconceived notions. In other words, it's all about the people who are leading the world in intelligence. It's an intelligence, people of intelligence who will survive into the future, meaning the people who are in tune mentally with God. The people who are going to receive the intelligence of God. That's what it's about. The people who will be in the forefront to receive the intelligence. I put in the feed, I said, they're going to be out of the human race, they're going to be the elite. And out of the almond race, they're going to be the elect. From the human race, right, it's going to be, you'll have your white race, your East Indians, and all these other people of the human race. They're going to produce an elite people, meaning a people out of the human genetic who will be necessary in the evolution of the planet. So a degree of them will still be here. These are going to be your scientists, your biophysicists, and all the people that are needed. They're going to be your elite that's going to serve a purpose on the planet, right? Then you're going to have out of your so-called black race and elect people that come out of the so-called black race. These are going to be people that are necessary. They're not going to think the same way as the older black people thought. They're not going to be lodged up in religion and metaphysics and all this other stuff. They're going to be on a higher level mentally, because the world dictates that you move forward mentally. This society has saw its last days. It saw its better days. This society has to give way to another one, right? It has to give way to another one. It has to give way, because I'm going to show you something symbolic in even electing Barack Obama the president. Show you something symbolic. Right before the United States went into, it became when it was the Continental Congress, and they had this man by the name of John Hanson, this black man there, right? Right before they were about to go into the United States, and George Washington was going to be elected, and they were still under England, and they were the Continental Congress. they had this black man who they called a Moore as president of the Continental Congress. Then you had, as the new union was forming, got rid of him, brought in Washington and all these other people. They brought in the Masonry and the connection to Egyptology and all this other stuff. And they came with a new order where the black man was put under, went into slavery, whatever the case may be. He was put under, and these people, these white men, took over and became president. So it could kind of be looked at the same way with Barack Obama closes out this old order, and they're opening up the door for a new order. Right? They're opening up the door for a new order. Your elite people, right? Your elite people, your elitists, these are the people, like I said, who serve a purpose in the newer world. Like I said, it's not going to be all of our people out here who are going to be the archaeologists and the scientists and things like that. Your historians, or the people that are needed. You're going to have different kinds of people keeping things together on the earth and being the doctors and whatnot. Those will be some of our people too, but it's not going to just be all of our people. But they're going to split off into a different group. Right? So this is all about the evolution of all people here on this planet. Even though it's a gradual, like I said, with the human race is still moving in a revolutionary mindset, but they're going to go through a gradual evolution within a revolution. They're going to grow within the circle. Certain ones of our people are going to grow outside the circle to receive higher intelligence to put us forward ahead of everybody on the planet like it was supposed to be. So we're going into a brighter future, but there has to be a chaotic state to happen first. That has to happen. As I said, growth. In order for something to grow, there has to be pains, as in growing pains. There has to be a stretching of something. There has to be a death of the old. Right? What you saw was just a sign of the times to come. In New Orleans, with our people dying off, a lot of our people are being forced down south, if you notice. Death waits for our people down south. Death is waiting. Notice our people are being forced down south. We being made to look like the South is all good. Notice they pushing the Southern rappers to you, right? You don't hear any more New York rappers, any East Coast rappers. They pushing the Southern rap because they trying to make the South look like it's the bomb, it's the thing, it's the place to be, right? And they pushing y'all all down south. So that's going back in the rotation again, right? Because where did our people come from? We came from down south to these cities, And a lot of the West Indian brothers and sisters came from the islands, from Jamaica and all these places to the cities. Now y'all turning back around and headed back down south. You heading back to the islands, right? Where are islands around? Islands are around water, right? Jamaica's going to be devastated, right? Haiti was already devastated. All those island places, they're finished. They're finished. Who's the majority of our people on those islands? You understand? So that's real. Our people are going to be destroyed in the South. You're going to have the Southern Knights, the Klan. All them people are going to be waiting for you niggas to head down there for target practice. You understand? If the water don't get you first, look at New Orleans. That's pretty much the South. You understand? All of this is taking place. Our people who are slow to get the point, who are not going to get this, they're marked for death. That's already been decided. It's already a done deal. These people are getting the coffins ready. Your FEMA and all these people, they're getting things ready. They know what's going to happen. They're looking at the naval chart. They watching. They prepared. See, the black race, y'all ain't prepared for nothing. It's all being orchestrated. But like exactly, it's all being orchestrated. But then a lot of our people will say, the white man he's planning this, he's plotting this. No, he's not planning and plotting this. No, he's not planning and plotting this. He's just watching the signs of what's going to come anyway. The Most High, God, Amen, is planning all of this. He's planning all of this. God makes all of this happen. God destroys, not man. God puts the idea in the minds of men to destroy as instruments of his wrath because he wants things clear. It's not about good. It's not about bad. It's about evolution and future people coming here. A race of future beings have to come here, but you older people with your old ideas and ways of thinking are blocking things. You understand? You're blocking. You're causing confusion. Y'all up here telling lies. You slowing down the evolution of the people who can't get the truth. You understand that? And your God, the creator, the supreme being, the supreme force, the man, the omni-man, the omni-race, the God race, they want you gone. They want you people who are in a state of confusion gone, because they want to bring about a fusion or a collective coming together of something, because to fuse something means to bring it together. You Negroes who are causing confusion, who are promoting individualism, you're going to be wiped off. Because God deals with collectives, deals with groups. He doesn't deal with individuals. They don't deal that way because they move as a collective. They move as a group. God and the so-called angels, which are nothing but people, a race of people, a race of supreme beings. They deal with people as a collective, not as individuals. But you people who are pushing individualism are the ones causing the confusion, meaning to break apart the fusion, go against the fusion of the coming together of the people. So you have to go. You're pushing doctrines that are in direct disobedience against the fusion of the people. They are in direct. They go against the fusion of the people. So you have to be taken away from here. In order for a new world to come in order for a new cooperating people to come in, you have to go out. These tides have to raise. The sun has to come closer to the planet. Destruction has to happen. It's necessary. Economies have to crash. You understand? These people who control the world, or excuse me, I don't mean to say control the world. These people who are being caretakers of the world, right? They understand that this has to happen. That's why they've stored up all their fortunes and things like that. They go into different planets. They move into different countries. They moving up out of America. They put a black man in charge. That right there, and I said that before. They put a black man in charge. That show you they don't care about America no more. They put a black man in charge. The caretaker to a dying kingdom. You understand? That's real. They'll try to save it. They'll try to, breathe life into it. They'll try. And a lot of you Negroes, y'all gonna be waiting around with your thumbs up your behind, looking, hoping that the same man you call a beast comes with a solution, because y'all ain't trying to come together. You looking for him. You looking for him to come with a solution. You looking for him to fix things. You looking for his engineers to go out and fix the levees or fix the water and all this. Like I said, that's what y'all looking for. Y'all not concerned with your own survival. Y'all not, y'all still trying to be individuals. You still sitting up here listening to Rick Ross and smoking blunts and like, ain't no problem out here. That's the mentality of the black man. That's the problem of a black man. Escape the responsibility. He's not concerned about the future. He's sitting around here worrying about the past. He's not worried about how his family's going to make it. He's not worried about coming together collectively, because, see, the people who are smart enough to come together collectively as one mind power, as people who are open to receive higher intelligence and to put away all the old differences, because it don't matter no more. The same people, like I said, you got people sitting around here, as the water is engulfing the land, you'll still have people sitting around here, you Moors, you'll still be arguing over land with the white man. Does it really matter? He'll sit up here and tell you, okay, y'all guys can have California now. And 3 days later, it's under damn water with y'all on it. Because you guys wanted land so much. Because that's what matters, right? You got to have some land. You actually believe that he owns the land, or that he has the right to give you the land. You actually believe that. You actually believe that you can set up a society based on land. Well, like I said, the water is about to swallow up the land. The people, or the man that created the land, that created the land mass, is the one who owns it. So you basically asking his landlords, the people that he allowed to be in charge of the land, to upkeep the land, to oversee the land, the job that we once had. You're asking him like he's the God of the land, and he's not. He answers to an authority, right? These are not the things that are going to dictate a new society of a new people. It is the intelligence of a people and their ability, right, and their ability to be able to govern a land as an order, as a structure. Exactly. You said land is a living entity, can't be owned. Well, then tell that to the Moors and all that who go into talking about petitioning the white man for land, or talking about they owe him some land. Nobody owns the land. Y'all just living here. Like I said, it's like ticks fighting over space on, like fleas fighting for space on a dog. Makes no sense. People fighting over land, and y'all all gonna be under it one day. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, if people set up in one place, they move to the next place, move to this place, move to that place. It's not about that. It's about breeding the minds of a people and raising the intelligence of a people. That's and bringing them together collectively. That's all that really matters. You can set up camp anywhere because that's all you're really doing here on the planet anyway is camping out. That's all you're doing. You're camping out. You don't own anything. You're camping out. You're coming together, you setting up a little school, you might set up a little building for you living. That's all you really need. That's all you need. Little school, little building for you, because like I said, it's going to come a time where you ain't going to be able to be there anymore anyway. If the water is submerging everything and you got to move, what good is your land after that? You understand? What good is that? It's about the intelligence of the people and the collective coming together of the people. Because I had this conversation with a brother earlier, and he's talking about, well, brother, you trying to set this thing up. What's your defense plan? I said, defense plan? There's no defense plan. What are you talking about? I said, the brothers are going to know how to, in the state of mental, they're going to be able to defend themselves and protect themselves. That's just natural. And the sisters. But, I said, defense plan. I'm like, we ain't trying to overthrow this society. This society on its way out. We don't care about America. We don't care about, we just here, and we living and we taking up our space here, and we here to receive our intelligence from the Most High, and that's it. We're not interested in nothing that's going on here. We're not interested in the politics. We're not interested in the government. We're not interested in any of that. That's fine. We don't care who win the election. We don't care about that Romney, Obama. Who cares? We're not interested. We're not interested in any of these things because it don't matter to y'all anyway. I don't know why y'all getting so hyped up and worrying about world events. Y'all don't matter in the world. According to the beast, you don't matter. Whoever's going to win, they already decided who was going to win. They already decided how things are going to go. It's already mapped out. It's already laid out. What our people need to be focused on is coming together collectively under a new flag, under a new intelligence, and putting away the old. A lot of our people don't want to do that. A lot of our people are uncooperative. That's the problem. You understand? Even when George Washington and these people saw back in the day, where they saw that the hold that England had over America, as America was trying to come up as an independent nation, they knew that the hold over England was pretty much about to lose its grip. So they figured that this is their chance to stand up and start to fight and take hold of that land. And that's what they did. Because out of that chaos was meant to bring a new order. This is why George Washington brought the 13 stars out on the flag for the first 13 colonies, but that was symbolic because 13 represents a new day. And what are we doing? We're going into the number 2000. We're going into the year 2013, right? So all of this is basically a countdown to the end. It's a countdown. It's a countdown and a forward motion to the end and the opening of a new door, a gradual opening of a new door. And like I said, for our people who are not moving forward mentally, collectively, they're going to die out. Don't worry about how much you pray. Don't worry about how much you, how much you into the culture. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Don't worry about whose God is this and whose God is that. Because, like I said, pretty much everybody's wrong when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's nobody with their religions and their beliefs that are winning anything right now. Nobody's winning. Our people are still in poverty with all of these beliefs and religions, and we're still in a state of confusion and ignorance, so it doesn't matter. So we might as well leave them behind. We might as well accept this intelligence that some of our people are going to get that's going to resonate to some of our people with. And our people should be happy in this day if it's starting to resonate. This intelligence that's being shared is starting to resonate with some of our people in the new day, because that means you are actually being given vision into the future, that you're being given vision to see beyond it, that you are elected to have vision into the future and and have this message resonate in your head, because we got so many of our people where this message is not going to resonate. There's no plan B for the elect. There's nothing out here for our people. A lot of our people are just out here right now, and they're just waiting to die. You understand? That's fine. They're waiting to vanish without trace. They just out here just running around. Like I said, they no different than the beast right now. They just out here running around, just, whatever goes, whatever happens, that's fine. So this is exactly why the separation has to take place in this day and time. It's necessary. It's necessary for us to shut our doors and separate ourselves from these people in these last days of this society, because you got a little glimpse of how the black man is going to be when America is on the full scale alert. You already got a glimpse of it in New Orleans. You already seen what our people was doing out there, or should I say the black race, not our people. We don't say that not in the state of mentality, the bright race. We don't connect ourselves with a bunch of ignorant people doing stupid things. You got a chance to see exactly what the damn black race was doing in New Orleans when it was some chaos and things like that. Instead of them coming together collectively and helping each other and making ways and helping the women. And so, now some of our people is out there doing that. But then you had some of these niggas out here stealing TVs out the damn thing, trying to drive your cars down the street in the water. You understand that? Breaking in stores and stealing things. This is what the hell was going on. This is what the damn black man was doing out there, raping women, and here you got old women dying in the street. They're not trying to help. They're trying to rape women and steal things. Chaos. The people who are in the chaotic state, who are moving in that chaotic state, and they're not trying to move against the chaos, you understand? By way of intelligence and order, they're going to die off. They're going to perish. This is real. We're going to play a little bit of music. What do I want to play? Eddie Kendricks, Going Up in Smoke, old school joint. We'll be right back. Stop believing this nonsense about, white man is plotting to do this and he's doing that and he's doing this and he's doing that. Like I said, he's really not doing anything. He's working along with the plan. Like I said, he's under orders. The things that are coming to this planet, he can't stop. He can't stop the sun, the planet moving closer to the sun, and the sun coming closer to the planet. He can't stop that. He can't stop the tides from rising. I know everybody talk about the HAARP machine, and this is just all designed by the HAARP machine and whatnot. But like I tell you in the book of Revelation, they talk about the HAARP machine right there when they're talking about the harp is a harping. It's not no real physical harp. It's talking about these people with the machines and whatnot. But it's all in line with what's being done. The earth is being redesigned. The Most High, who everybody loves so much and says, the Most High this and the Most High that. Why not? The Most High is destroying bits and pieces of the planet, to kill off the people, to kill off the useless people. That's real. That's being done because, like I said, the majority of our people serve no purpose, right? It's no different than taking out parts of a radio and replacing them. That's how they look at it. It's them deciding. The people that created this thing are the only people that can destroy this thing, not the people on it. Like I said, they might blow up, the white man might blow up something, but even he's given permission to do those things. He's allowed to kill off people that God doesn't want here. Right? And he is not allowed to kill off the people that God wants here. As they flood the planet, as God floods the planet, as God destroys, as the God race, these supreme beings destroy the planet for a very good reason, as they help collapse societies, collapse systems and things like that, they do so for other systems to come in. It's like I said, you have to destroy one thing and replace it with something else. One order has to be destroyed and a new one has to be brought in. So stop blaming the white man. Stop saying, oh, they want to kill off and they want to do this, because they don't have that power to do that. They're being led to do that. When the white man says one nation under God, he really means it. That's the truth. His nation is under God. It is under the watchful eye of God, because they have an order. They have a structure. You might not agree with it, but then the black man and black woman is in no position to talk about what they agree with or what they don't agree with, because y'all not keeping no order. Y'all not trying to be in charge of anything. You're not trying to keep any order. Y'all don't want responsibility. Like I said, our people are in a state of chaos, so you will never be in charge of nothing. You will never rule again until our people get themselves together, until they get in order, until they become orderly people. Until they are ready to replace the order that's currently here on the planet, they will never be in charge of anything again. So them days are gone. You can sit up here and talk about Egypt all you want. You can sit up here and talk about Samaria and all these places. The people were in order at that time. You got a bunch of disorganized, chaotic people on the earth today. People who are acting on a submental level. People who are acting like animals. Hell, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. A lot of times the damn white man's more civilized than you black people. He acts more civilized. You niggas are acting like animals. Straight up. I don't care if you don't like it. Y'all act like animals. You act worse than him. You understand? You doing the things that that you leading in all kind of wickedness on the damn planet, over him. You black men are, like I said, you turning out into homosexuals quicker than the damn white man is. You flipping your hand back and forth quicker than he is. You black women into lesbianism now. You go running in the wrong direction. You tattooing yourselves all up. You smoking weed. You taking ecstasy. You understand? You listening to damn rock music now. You all bugged out your minds. And like people say, oh, this is coming off kind of preachy now. The simple-minded Negroes. This ain't about preaching. This is about people who are out of their damn minds. This is not a rant or preaching to a people who are not willing to listen. No, this is about talking to people who have lost their damn minds. How are you people going to? Why would a God allow a people who have lost their damn minds to survive into the future? Common sense, logically, why would a God deal with a people who have lost their damn minds, who are under a submental state, under the beast? Why would he allow them to continue into the future? Answer me. Why would he allow these people to continue into the future? You niggas that's following the damn white man. And like I said, y'all act like animals. You treat each other, you treat your children like animals. You understand? You got your kids, you hand your kids over to the beast to get shot up with Ritalin and all kind of other stuff. You black women, like I said, you spread your legs quicker than a damn 24-hour sliding door to Walmart. You black men, like I said, y'all forget about y'all. You black men don't want no responsibility. You not even men. You talking about you gods. You niggas not even men today. You ought to be ashamed of yourself to even say that you was connected with some Egyptian pharaohs. Nigga, please. A lot of y'all deserve whatever the damn white man do to y'all. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You understand that? So this was about getting our people. You have to chastise the people a little bit before you try to straighten them up and give them something to get them lined up logically and line them up and to get their minds right. Because, like I said, the problem with our people, our minds are not right. We arguing over stupid things that don't matter. You black men have come to a childlike state where you shooting each other down over colors, stabbing each other, cutting each other in the face. You understand? You guys are filling up the jail cells like it's no tomorrow. You understand that? So how does a God deal with a people like that? Answer, he doesn't. He doesn't. He lets you perpetually keep dying in the damn ghetto. How does he deal with men who want to smoke weed till their damn brains fall out their head? They want to be medicated because they can't stand up like men and deal with the real world. How does he deal with that? You understand? You black men and black women are off. You so-called black men and black women are off. He's becoming a man of nature, and y'all becoming unnatural people. He's becoming the nature man. He's the one that's caretaking the damn planet. When you look at somebody who's planting trees and doing the things they got to do and acting civilized, now you got to look at the damn white man. What are you black men doing and black women doing? You acting like homos and whores and all kind of foulness you doing on the damn planet. All kinds of madness, all kinds of mental debauchery, everything you doing on the planet. Like you done lost your damn mind. You talking all out your head. You following people who just any kind of madness. Anybody with some stupid doctrine, y'all just following it. You know? You writing all over yourself. You listening to music called hip hop. You understand? That's where your mind is at. All messed up. All bugged out your mind. You black women, you black men, y'all marching in gay parades now. You understand? Y'all all bugged out your damn mind, but yet you sitting up here in some church praying to take another breath and live into the future another day when the damn new year coming in. What the hell you praying to live into the new year for? So you can do some more damn wickedness? So you can do some more wickedness? So you can sit up here another year stabbing each other in the back, sleeping with your man, girl, and lying on each other, gossiping in the church? That's what you praying to do for another damn year? That's why you want to keep living? You got to be kidding me. You got to be kidding me. So you can live another year to tattoo your back all up in your arms and write all over your face and stick pins in your face like you done lost your damn mind? That's what you living another year for? That's what you praying for? You know, so you and your girlfriend could adopt kids or whatever the hell y'all doing. Whatever kind of madness. You understand that? A lot of madness. A lot of people have lost their minds. And like I said, this is not a sermon. This is just a wake up call for people that lost their minds. This is just a wake up call for people that lost their mind. People who feel like there's not a problem. Is your church full of drama like this church is full of drama? Which church you mean? There's no church here. I hope you're not making reference to this. No. You know, there's no church here. This is about people getting their minds right. This is about people that have to be scolded to get their minds right. This is not because like I said, a lot of people unfortunately don't think it's a problem. Oh, it sounds like church? You understand? It sounds like church? Well, like I said, I tell you what, I'm speaking to the guy in here, Alter Ego. If it sounds like church, then you need to leave. Because this is about getting the minds of the people right. Maybe you hearing that because it sounds like church to you and it sounds like proselytizing to you because you okay with what's going on out here in the world. The people who are not okay with this is refreshing because you're not going to hear no black men out here talking like this. Because black men like you, I don't know if you are a black man or whatever kind of man you are, obviously you okay with this. So this kind of talk bothers you. If it proselytizes and sound like preaching, then have a nice day. Because I'm not interested in what you got to say. I'm only interested in cleaning up the minds of my people so that we can start thinking logically. No, I'm not here to preach to nobody. We're here to get the minds of our people right. You understand? But obviously people like you have a problem with that because you okay with what's going on out here. You okay with all the degeneracy that's going on amongst our people. So go somewhere else and be a degenerate. Go somewhere else where the talk is moderate and everything just going to be okay and we just living in the world and being degenerates. It's okay. Being ignorant, it's okay. I didn't say adopting children was bad. I'm saying you people are so-called black women in these relationships, these lesbian relationships, you understand? They, like I said, doing unnatural things, adopting children, laying with other women and whatnot. That's what I'm talking about. You understand? Raising them in unnatural households. But hey, it's all right here in this society, right? That's what y'all do. This is what y'all accepted. You know? Like I said, unnatural. Well, no, I'm not interested. Like you said, you saying that my church. First of all, it's not a church here. You understand? I don't know what you keep saying church for. Alter Ego. This is not a church here. I don't know if you're coming in here trying to be funny. This is not a church. Okay? This is not a religion. This is about a people. Yeah, well, like I said, you always get some slow people in here. They don't understand. I guess they ain't been listening. They maybe kind of slow, so I'm gonna explain this to you slowly. All right, this is not a church here. This is not a belief. We don't go with any rituals. This is not a cult group. This is an intelligence community that's being set up. This is an intelligence movement that's being set up here. And I'm talking to people who have lost their minds. I'm not interested in the rest of the people out in the world who are doing what they want to do. You're right. Let the degenerates destroy everything. Let them destroy themselves. I'm not interested in them. I'm talking about the people who are looking for something beyond that. That's who I'm talking to. You understand? That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to people who are thinking above and beyond that, who need to hear this message, who are looking to link with people who think like this. I'm not talking to the rest of the degenerates. Let the degenerates go and do what they do. Let them go out here and rape and rob and kill and do what they want. But we need to be separate. That's what I'm talking about. This is all about finding the minds of our people, the ones of our people who want to come together collectively. This is not about we don't need no more phony churches. This is about getting the minds of a people right, advancing the intelligence and the ways and thinking of the people, taking our minds out of these unnatural ways of living that we've accepted that's turning our people into degenerates. You understand? So we got to speak on that. We got to speak on not being the problem and being the solution, not being the people that are going to die off in the society based on their unnatural ways of thinking. You understand that? That's what this is about. That's what it's about. It's about raising a people out of this degenerate mindset, people who are looking for a way out. Like pulling people to the shore who are sinking underwater, pulling them out. Not interested in the people who want to go down drowning, the people who are okay with what's going on here. Not interested in those people. This message is not for the black race. It's not for the white race. It's for the bright race, for the intelligent ones of our people that are coming out of the black race. You understand? You say, I disagree with you about trying to help people get their minds right. I hope they don't get their minds right at all. People in their right minds will not act degenerated. I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, that now you sound like you losing your damn mind, alter ego. I don't know what you're talking about. Like I said, certain ones of our people are looking. Like I said, certain ones of our people are looking for a way to come to amongst their people. That's what this is for. This is for healing the minds of our people. This is not for degenerate talk. This is for healing the minds of our people. But you have to show them the problem in order for them to say, you know what, you're right. You understand? This is for showing the people the problem. A lot of our people, like I said, are mentally dead. You understand? They are mentally dead, and they don't know that there's a problem. So we respect the dead here, and we step over the dead. You understand? We respect the dead, and we step over the dead bodies. And ever so often, some mentally dead person walks up in the chat room and, causes confusion and whatnot, because everybody else pretty much knows what's going on here. They know the drill. They know how we doing here. And you got people who just don't get it. They're going to be perpetually stuck in their circle of belief and ignorance and things like that, and they're not actually seeing what's going on here. They think this is a church, this is a belief, this is a cult, this is a group. No, it's an intelligence movement for intelligent people. A lot of our people are not going to make the cut. It doesn't matter if the world is in chaos. The people are in chaos. The world, like I said, the world is just going through a change. The world is not in chaos, actually. The world is going through a growth. It's going through a state of evolution. The world is not in chaos. It's the ignorant people who are in chaos. You got it twisted, my man. The world is not in chaos. It's just going through a growth. It's just shaking the fleas off of the planet, off its skin. That's all. Shaking all the unnecessary people off who serve no purpose. You understand? No, the world is not in constant chaos. It's people, ignorant people who are in chaos. The world is fine. The world is going right along with how it's supposed to go. The world is fine. You understand? The world is fine. It's always the ignorant people who are in chaos, the people who don't understand why they're here, what purpose they serve, and whatnot. So they're going to walk around and cause confusion because they figured that's the only purpose to cause, because they don't really have no reason for being here. They don't have any rhyme or reason for being here other than to cause chaos. So those are the people who are going to be in a chaotic state, not the people who have and who know what their purpose is here, who are serving the purpose in the evolution of the people. That's the reason for people being here. They realize that they serve a purpose in the state of evolution of this world. See, the people who have no idea, who have no connection with God or that higher power or that higher source, they walk around here in a state of confusion. They up here in these different doctrines and these different teachings and these different beliefs, all these esoteric and abstract and spiritual nonsense and whatnot, and all this double talk, when we need straight, concrete, clear answers on what our purpose is in the world. Why are we here? Straight, clear, and to the point. We don't need no more abstract teachers. We don't need nobody talking some chaotic confusion and some nonsense. You understand? We don't need that. Like I said, we don't need people going on diatribes about hope the world comes to an end and everybody dies and whatnot. Like I said, you bugged out your damn mind. You know, a lot of these people don't came in here, they ain't take no medication. You know? Some of our people, like I said, the chaos is not the people. It's not, like I said, chaos is not in the world. People are out of their minds. You know? Well, like I said, it doesn't matter if you're ignorant or intelligent. Like I said, I already know you done lost your mind, alter ego. You done lost your mind. It does matter if you're ignorant or intelligent. Just by, like I said, what we seeing here in the room. It does matter. Like I said, because only somebody, like I said, exactly, distractions. It only goes to the intelligent ones of our people, the ones who are in tune. But like I said, I'll let him have his say and whatnot, you know, and, you know, it's whatever. You know, I'm never going to boot a person out of the room just because they have their opinions and whatnot. But obviously you see the minds of the people. They off. You know? Oh, he's saying that we are is that what you're saying, alter ego, that we are degenerated? I don't know. But like I said, I usually don't talk to the chat room and whatnot. I usually just go on with the broadcast. But I just find you know, he said, I respect intelligent people. Chaos doesn't respect anything. I thought you said intelligent and ignorant people don't matter. It doesn't matter in the world of chaos. Okay, whatever. I'm done. All right. Like I said, it's always the people who are not in tune or not in line. These are the people that are going to die off. These are the people who are going to suffer. These are the people who serve no purpose. Their names have already been written down. You literally have two books in the world. You literally have people who are in a book of death, and you have people who are literally in a book of life. People who are going to continue. Their bloodlines are going to continue. And it sounds funny. It might sound biblical or religious, but it actually doesn't. Because just as you have people every day who are going to come into the world, you're going to have people that are going to pass out. You're going to have people that are going to continue. You're going to have people that are who are chosen to serve a purpose. You know? You're going to have people that are going to be chosen to serve a purpose versus those who do not. You understand? These are the people who usually get miserable. They go crazy when things like this and events happen where you see all of this, the world just basically going through a growth. You understand? You see the world going through a growth, and you see changes going on. This is real. This is real in the evolution of our people. So, I don't know what how does everybody feel about alter ego being in the room? Is he disturbing the chat? I want everybody to feel calm. I want everybody to feel calm in the chat. You know, I know he's just expressing himself, but is everybody okay with that? You all vote in there and tell me what y'all think of alter ego. Is he okay? Because, like I said, we make it a point to try to keep everything on a mental, on a strong mental level, on a strong mental current. We don't like people coming in causing confusion. Okay. You say I'm joking, everyone. Now you joking. Okay. No, we're not gonna play the agent game. We don't do that thing in the I'm gonna say this to the people out here in the chat room. We don't do the agent thing here because there's nothing to hide. I'm not hiding anything. I'm doing this on the broadcast. I want everybody to stop all the agent talk. I don't like the agent talk. That's the conscious community. It's not the conscious community over here. This is the intelligence society or the intelligence movement. Anybody's free to listen to anything I say or disagree with. I don't have a problem with that. I really don't care because at the end of the day, time is proving me right. You know, time and what's going on in the world is proving me right. You know, so like I said, if you know, don't let people distract the chat room. Let me see. Questions, comments on anything I said about the world going through a growth, about people slowing down the evolution, about people moving forward. I want questions and comments. Anybody got calls? Anybody wants to call in? This is the perfect time to call in because this is our broadcast. It's not just my broadcast. All right? When I talk about the elect of the 144,000, the rise of the 144,000, what I meant to say, I'll get you in a second, 205. Stay on the line. When I was talking about the rise of the elect, I'm talking about hard times have to happen in order to raise the elect out of the chaos because that nothing sharpens a people more than hard times. Nothing strengthens them mentally more than hard times. Some of your people who came out of the wars and things like that, who became rich and wealthy and went through hard times, they became smarter. They became stronger. You know, so our people are going to have to go through some turmoil, and we're going to have to go through times when we have to come together and band together collectively as a mental force in order to survive. That's how the elect are built. You understand? The elect are built by coming together in hard times, by using their intelligence to survive, to come together collectively. That's how your intelligence are bred out of chaos. Though we should constantly be moving in an evolutionary state, whether the times are good or whether times are bad, whether the stock market is crashing, whether the land is going through a problem, you know, this should not bother our people in our state of evolution. We should always be evolving in that state as an elect people. So, with me saying that, I'm going to take 205. 205, you're on the air.
Peace.
Peace.
Noble Profound calling. I just wanted to say, I know everything that you're saying is true because I already thought of it before. I already received it, you know, and it's confirmation. You know, all the things you talk about, how the people is carrying themselves. You know, it's true. You know, these people, you know, they deserve what they get because, you know, like you said, nobody's forcing us to do self-destructive things to ourselves. You know, we got to wake up in the morning with a purpose. You know, our purpose is to, how can I be better than I was yesterday? If we're not thinking on that level, then we deserve to, you know, fall into chaos and destruction that, you know, that we're falling in. So I just wanted to say, you know, I appreciate what you're saying. I'm just grateful to be in tune with everything, and I look forward to linking up with you.
Okay. Well, like I said, we're going to be doing the Supermen, Superwomen Project November 25th here in New York. It'll be a week or so after my birthday, a week or two after my birthday. I would like everybody to try to make it out here November 25th to Brooklyn, New York, to hear me talk, stand up here, and celebrate my 42nd birthday. I would like you all to come out, all the listeners and whatnot. Ride the rails, ride the bus, make your way out here, meet the intellectual, clean your faces up and whatnot, because I would like to start, you know, checking our people out, see who we're going to enter into the state of mental, see who's really with me, and see who's with the building of this intelligence movement. And, you know, because I got a lot of Facebook friends who love the things I say and people who come in, but I want to see who actually wants to enter the family, because we're going to have to form communities amongst the people that's out here so that in times of emergency, in times of trouble, in times of survival, in times of coming together and building collectively, because all we're going to have is each other. We're going to have to come together as one state, one new society, one movement and whatnot to abate the chaos that's going to take place amongst our people. So.
Yeah, I'm interested in actually bringing it down here to where I'm at in Alabama. So, because it's all about people getting, like you said, you know, being around other people that share the, you know, their ideas and their intelligence. You know, there's a lot. It is more people out here that are in tune, but it's just that, you know, they feel like they're alone and they need that support system. So, you know, it really it's just about, you know, bringing it bringing it to, all these different people that's listening in all over the world. It's all about bringing it to where they at, so people that's around them can, really get the, studying what they need, all this advanced information.
Well, like I said, everybody, their task and their goal, like I said, the people who want to be part of the state of Mintel, first and foremost, you have to come here. You have to come to New York. I don't care how you get here. Make your way to New York. That's the first assignment for a lot of people who want to be members. You have to, at some point or sometime, I like it to be on the 25th, which is the next Superman Woman Project, or sometime in December, whatever, because we meet every month. Make your way here because we want to see who the people are. We like people to clean yourselves up, clean your faces up. Come on out here. Let yourselves be seen if you want to be members, because we want to see who wants to become potential members. And, whether we send people back out to set up study groups and whatnot, we don't want people with us that's getting high. We don't want people with us that's getting drunk, who's smoking cigarettes and whatnot. So we cleaning our people up because our minds have to be right. If the black man, the so-called black man who's coming into this thing or entering in as a bright man, because you leave in the world as a black man and you coming in as a bright man, you're coming in as a new man. So you can't do the old ways of the so-called black race or expect them to respect you and follow what you're saying and doing and being a part of these study groups that we're going to set up if you're doing the same things as them. If you stand around on the street smoking weed with them, cigarettes, drinking with them, getting high, or indulging in the old ways that you're doing. So unless our people are ready to come along in that mindset of a new man and a new woman, then, you're not really with us. You just like to listen to the broadcast. I'm not saying you, but I'm saying anybody.
Yeah,
a lot of our people got a problem letting the old ways go. They like how things sound, but they don't want to be disciplined. This is all about disciplined people, because disciplined people are intelligent people. Disciplined people who have the ability to stop doing the old things and separate themselves and habits and things that the old people are doing, because nobody's going to respect you if you're sitting here and you're saying that, I'm not, I'm this and I'm of a bright race and I'm this, that, and you smoking weed with them, you smoking cigarettes with them, you getting drunk with them, you doing all these things, you still doing these things, and they looking at you like you a hypocrite. You still hanging around the same old people. You should be hanging around these bright ones that you say that's out there that's not doing these things, because y'all supposed to be setting the example.
Well, that's all I had. So.
Huh?
I said that was all I had. I'll go back to listen to the show.
Okay, brother. All right.
Thanks, man.
All right. Like I said, it's all about discipline with our people. Like I said, for people who can't stop doing their old things and want to still do the old ways, you don't support me. You're not part of the state of Mintel. It's nice that you listen. That's fine. Okay, you can listen to the broadcast all you want to, but the true people are going to be the disciplined people, the ones who are going to survive. Like I said, if y'all still out here smoking weed, you smoking cigarettes, you getting drunk, you getting high, then you of the old world. You of the destructive people. You are the people who, because what there's nothing more ignorant than a person who's abusing their body. Then nobody's more ignorant than that. You inhaling tobacco, you inhaling poison, you inhaling weed, carbon monoxide, you getting drunk. Like I said, the black man got a problem with that. He want to talk about he want to be part of this, but he can't mentally stand strong and stuff. But yet you expect to receive some intelligence from a higher source. To do what? To stand around like a nigga and still do the same old things? You a hypocrite. If our people are not going to stop doing it, like I said, this ain't the 5% nation. You can't come in here and do whatever you want to do. You understand? We don't want people around us. We even drug testing the people that's going to become members of the state of Mintel. We don't want no druggies with us. We don't want no weed smokers with us. You should want to clean yourself up. See, when you start giving that part of the message and start talking about a clean and intelligent new people coming into the future, then you start seeing the people, oh, well, I'm going to just listen to the show. I ain't really with that part of it. Yeah, right. You ain't with us anyway. You with the black race. You a nigga. You like the words, but you a nigga. I'm not saying that's about the last. I'm just saying about anybody who got that mindset, because I know a lot of you young guys, y'all got a problem with that. A lot of you young guys, you got a problem with not partaking in the things and the nonsense that's going on in the hoods of America. You got a weed problem. You got a cigarette problem. You got a liquor problem. You don't want to straighten yourself up. You don't want to clean your face off. You want to walk around with hair all over your damn face with your pants hanging off your ass and doing all these things you do in the society. No, we're not doing that in the state of Mintel. We want clear minds, clear eyes, clear bloodstreams. We want all of this for our people. We want clear-minded, responsible people with us. We don't want any niggas standing around getting high, getting drunk. You understand? Because if that's the case, why come amongst us? Go be amongst the niggas. Go. That's what they do. We don't want no niggas with us. All right? So, I want to play, well, we got 18 minutes to go. Wow. I didn't know I was this far off into the broadcast. I might as well just go ahead and answer these questions because I wanted to play some music before. Got 18 minutes. 18 minutes. Let me just go ahead and answer those questions. All right. Let me see. Is America folding up as a nation? Yeah, because a new order has to come out of that. Like I said, George Bush wasn't lying. George Bush never lied when he said a new world order. He said that. But he knows in order for a new world order to take place, the old one has to go out. And how does the old world go out? By way of destruction. So they know all this stuff going to happen. They know the tides are going to rise. They got that marine, what's that, the marine map or the Navy map? Right? They got all that. They seeing how the sea, the waters rise, and they see all of that. Right? So they know the old nation got to go out in order for a new one to come in. Like I said, personally, I'd like to see a heavy body count because a lot of our people, a lot of these people on Earth, not just our people, a lot of these people don't really need to be here. They don't serve no purpose. So, like I said, all the ignorant people, they're gonna see their way out of here anyway. All right. So, America's folding up because a new world is coming. Is this country moving into a third world status? Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. America was in the first world status, but like I said, we don't manufacture anything anymore. So based on the fact that we're not really manufacturing anything anymore, we're going into a third world status because we dependent on other countries to manufacture and make things for us. We don't make nothing here. All the jobs have been outsourced. They, through that NAFTA thing, everything's been outsourced. So all these millionaires and billionaires who got even richer by sending this the jobs to India and these little Asian countries and stuff like that, they made it meant, they don't have to hire you all anymore. So, basically the primary employer of a lot of you middle America, white and black people and things is the military. So you just be in the desert and sand somewhere fighting, some war and stuff like that. They never get enough of you guys. So, why is America folding as a nation? Because of depleted resources. The resources are depleted here in the society, and too much wasteful spending, too much wasteful living, too many consumers here, especially the so-called black race. Y'all consume like nobody else. The black race is worse than a bunch of damn locusts. Y'all worse. Y'all have stripped the hell out of something. Like I said, y'all the ones that got to have 20 cars. And I'm not saying the white man don't do that neither, but like I said, the rich white people, like I said, you ain't going to see them with stacks of money and 50 cars and 50 houses. They're not doing all that. It's always our people that got to be flashy and we got to consume hard. Even when we ain't got it to consume, we'll find a way to consume. We get greedy, we get fat, we get sloppy, we get lazy. And that's the problem with our people. You got people who are just consuming at an alarming rate. This is real. The black man don't want to stop consuming. He don't want to stop doing what he's doing. Like I said, the black man want things to change, but he don't want to change. The black woman want things to change, they too stupid to know there's a problem. So that's the majority of the people. But we're going through that evolution. And as this society's folding and a new world is opening, the majority of our people are going to fold with the old world. Right, what you saw out here in Wall Street and our people, and you see the people walking to work and all this stuff like that, it looked like a state of desolation. Wasn't no gas to be gotten. The gas station didn't have no gas. All of this is a dry run for the desolation that's coming to these societies and these states in America. You seeing it happening right now. It's not a coincidence. You understand? You would ask yourself, hell, why would one so-called hurricane stop oil from coming in or gas from coming into New York City? If I could walk out in the so-called hurricane and go to the store and come back and forth, it didn't take me and blow me away. Why is it that gas can't get here? I'm gonna tell you honestly, a lot of this stuff, the hurricane was using an excuse to do a dry run to deprive people without stuff. That's using an excuse. You understand? It wasn't let's just say it wasn't as heavy as they say it was. That they couldn't get gas and all this. The gas couldn't make the trucks and deliveries and all this stuff. It wasn't as heavy as they said it was. It was just a trial run to see how people would react. That's what I see, because it wasn't as deep and as heavy as they say it was. You know, but it's like I said, it's a sign of things to come. When did this start? The folding of this society. It started back, like I said, in the 80s. Well, actually, after they went off the gold standard in '69, and and because it was too much conservation, too much consumerism. They went off the gold standard because they didn't have the gold to back up the dollars and the currency that was being spent here. So it was just debt piling up and paper money and things being spent, and and resources being taken from other countries, and so it was just basically piling up debt after we went off the gold standard, and gold wasn't around to be traded off. So that's when the fall started to happen, far back in the 60s and heavily in the 80s. Right? What does this mean for people in this society? Desolation, death, destruction, people losing their minds, losing their jobs, losing, people who are not going to be able to smoke their weed every day or turn on their radio station and listen to Lil Wayne and whoever the hell they are listening to. Young Jeezy and Nicki Minaj. Like I said, a lot of y'all talk about y'all ready for the new world. Y'all, if y'all can't get y'all weed and y'all Lil Wayne and Weezy and Jeezy and all this other nonsense, y'all niggas will lose y'all mind, man. Y'all will literally lose your mind like y'all losing your minds today. So that's what's coming. Who will survive the coming destruction? What does this mean for? Who will survive the coming destruction? The elite and the elect will survive the coming destruction, because it's always going to be a race of people who are stronger mentally, who are stronger physically, who will survive. And then the people who are weak-minded, you people who just got to smoke your drugs, who just got to, do all kind of weirdness and unnatural things, you people who just got to be in the world partaking in all kind of madness, y'all going to pass off because you're weak mentally. You understand? You have to be strong mentally in order to survive physically. I'm going to say it again. You have to be strong mentally in order to survive physically. And you have to move, You have to be able to move with a collective people, Even with I'm going to say even with the so-called silver and the gold. And this is the thing that puzzles me. People talk about gold and having gold and stuff like that, and you have to have gold. You hear the Moors and all these white people, all these people talking about you got to have gold, you got to have gold. Let me tell you something. The white man is not getting gold to use it to spend as he's not using gold to spend as a currency. No, he's using it for receivers. Because think about it. If you got gold bars and you trading it and you melt it down for coins or whatever, and you trading it or whatever you're trying to do with it to buy food and stuff like that, what happens when you run out of gold? What happens when you run out of gold? What happens when you don't have any more gold coins and silver coins and stuff like that? What happens? Because I always wondered about that. You people sit around here talking about, you got to have gold and silver and make sure you get the gold bars and silver and all this nonsense. What happens when you trade all that gold for when you trade that gold for food and stuff like that? Because you're going to have to live, say, 20, 30, maybe 40 years. You might live that long or longer. What happens when you deplete all of that gold, when you done gave it away for food and stuff? So what good is the gold in? The people that are stockpiling gold, they're not stockpiling gold to give back, put it back in as currency into the public. They're stockpiling gold. You understand? They're stockpiling gold so they can use it as a receiver. You understand? They're using it for a totally different purpose. They're not using it to put back as currency. So you people need to stop with this nonsense. You understand? You need to stop with this nonsense about, we need gold as currency. You understand? It's not going to help you. So, what else we got? Will the majority of the black race make it into the future? No, of course not. The majority of the human race won't make it, but especially not the black race. You see how our people are. The majority of the human race is ignorant. And our people, like I said, we right in the forefront of the ignorance. That's one thing we lead on this thing right here. The black race leads in is ignorance. You understand? Our people who was once the smartest people on the planet now lead the world in ignorance. So, we already know who's coming up. That's why you see our people dying off in places like Haiti and in New Orleans, because, like I said, that's the ignorant. That imagine that double that number all across the country. People who who feel like they want to fall into the groove of the wax and just whatever happens just happens, and whatever, blah blah blah, whatever. So, who will be the elect and who will be the elite? Your elect and your elite will be the people who come out of the black race, the smarter, intelligent ones, and your elite will be the ones who come out of the human race. Your whites, your East Indians, all the people, the younger generation will be smart enough to come out of these old ways of thinking of the old races, and they will aid in building new foundations, new governments that will aid in preserving the planet. They will be a little more conservative with the resources. They're not going to be like the old guard of people, the simple-minded, who was sitting up here using up everything, because things are going to go into a more intelligent time, but things are going to get more constricted, more conservative. It's not going to be the same old way, right? People are going to learn from the ignorant mistakes of others in the past, all right? Let me see. Let me see. Who will be the elect and who will rise out of the ashes? Why is all this happening? Because this all has to happen as part of an evolution. The earth has to be submerged in the water to swallow up half the people on the planet. Destruction has to happen to kill off a lot of the people. It's not about hurting the land. The land is going through a growth right now. The land is going through an evolution right now. The world is not chaotic. It's the people that's chaotic. There's too many chaotic people here. There's too many ignorant people here on the planet, so they have to go and make way for an intelligent new people that are going to be able to nurture the earth, that are going to be able to foster the earth into a greater evolution. That has to happen. That's what it talked about in your book of Revelation when it talked about the elect. This is not a religious thing. This is not a religious belief. It's just talking about an evolutionary people who will come with higher intelligence, people who are more smarter than the last batch that was here. Simple as that. So we've come to the end of our broadcast. I guess I'm not even going to touch what's going on in the chat room. It just seems like it's all kind of madness and craziness going on in there. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about in there. But thanks for listening, whatever y'all got out of it, that's fine. So, join us November 25th, State of Mintel Supermen, Superwomen Project here in Brooklyn, New York City. I like all of those of you who are in the area to come out. And as we teach classes, we, the mentalists unite and have our family day. We invite our guests in and the people who are coming in. Please don't come amongst us with, the people that come out of town. Don't come amongst us with any wildness. Don't come amongst us high and all this other nonsense. I already know that I ain't got to tell the intelligent ones of our people. I hope, as our people are going into this evolutionary state, that you're not still doing these things. Don't sit up here and say that you're any different than the black race and you still indulging in the things that black people are doing. Please don't do that. It's all about the betterment of our people. So, all right. I am the intellectual Nuben Menkarayzz. This has been State of Mintel Radio. Good night. Join us on Monday. We'll be back.